Player housing's coming soon. We know it. We've seen it on the roadmap. We know that it's going to be dropping sometime this year based on the debates that we have so far. But what does that mean for when it drops, how it drops, when the expansion will be hitting, and everything else? Let's dive straight into this. Here we go. If you haven't been living under a rock, as this article says, yeah, player housing is coming, and we know where it currently stands on the roadmap. So if, in fact, we do pull up the roadmap, we see it right here. There are two rumored ways that we are going to be getting player housing. First of all, there's the pre-patch version of player housing, right? So the pre-release or whatever, pre-patch of the expansion, right? And some people have been saying, well, we'll get it in pre-patch, that'll be a thing. There's the other half right now saying that we could be getting it before pre-patch even hits if you pre-purchase the expansion. If you're wondering what kind of, precedence do we have for that? Well, if you don't remember, BFA, we had the Allied races drop, right? And they actually technically dropped during Legion. But you could only have access to them had you pre-purchased BFA. So they were made available for everybody, and that was actually before the BFA pre-patch. We did get some BFA stuff launching with BFA. The pre-patch event was kind of those war things where you had to go get the loot and shit, if you remember. It wasn't that fun. It was a try to match the hype that was Legion pre-patch, but it really wasn't as good as Legion pre-patch. Nothing has been really since Legion. But you were able to play those Allied races. So here's the thing. People think right now that basically they're going to make player housing available at some point pre-patch. So right now, if we look at the way the dates line up on this calendar, there's some hints as to when that could be happening. So right now, expansion reveal. If we're checking out expansion reveal, really that lines up with the Gamescom, which should be on August 20th, 2025. So if we consider this to be August 20th, 2025, and we line up where autumn starts. Autumn technically starts on September 22nd. That's what this double dash line should mean. So we're getting basically a month of time right here. And then pre-patch launching at some point back here. I was saying pre-patch for the expansion. Again, going through Season 2 and everything else. Season 2, 2.5, 2.7 here. This will actually be Season 3. And then the launch of what would be player housing. Now the double line right here. Technically the end of fall and the beginning of winter is December 21st. Now, December 21st this year falls on a Sunday. The following Tuesday would be December 23rd, interestingly enough, and that kind of sits right there where this player housing preview looks like it's going to be hitting. Now, will pre-patch for Midnight be launching by then, or will it just be available for the people who have pre-purchased the expansion? I'd have to bet on that one, personally. First of all, Midnight expansion launching, technically that is the second expansion since we last got a new class added to the game, right? We had the Drakthir added. That was the last one. That was in Dragonflight. Typically, we've gotten a new class added to the game every other expansion. So right now, Midnight is lining up to where we could be getting a new class. Is it going to be some kind of Voidbound class? Is it going to be the Tinker class that we should have gotten during Undermine? We don't know yet. But if we do, in fact, get a new class, that should be the pre-patch launch, right? That should be the thing, just like, as I mentioned earlier, Demon Hunters were for Legion pre-patch. That's what the Midnight pre-patch content would be, which would mean player housing would actually be something that launches before that for anybody who pre-purchased the expansion. Etherealist? I don't know. There's a lot of choices out there for what the class could be. But player housing to me would hit before that. We also have Legion Remix hitting at some point here as well with the Faded Green. We already know that's going to happen. So everything seems to be lining up for actual player housing to hit before the pre-patch of Midnight hits. I would expect pre-patch of Midnight to hit sometime after we get back from the holiday. You basically will have Legion Remix and player housing carrying people through the holiday period. And then as soon as we get back in January, we'd probably be getting pre-patch for the Midnight expansion, then heading straight into that as well. We're just after. So all of this is lining up for a jam-packed end of the year. Exciting time to play the game, and an exciting time for those of you who love player housing. Whether you play retail or classic. That's right. Could player housing be coming to classic? I'm not sure, but it looks like Blizzard is certainly contemplating it. So if you don't know already, Blizzard released a long blue post about how Season Discovery is coming to an end, and it's the end of an era for the classic Andes out there. They released a survey with this blue post, a secret survey to many people who currently play Classic, asking them what kind of features they would like to see in Classic going forward. So Blizzard has plans to relaunch Classic in some type of way. Most likely what people are expecting is the new Classic Plus, right? The one that they expected from the very beginning. Season of Discovery was very successful for what it was. It was a way to add content to the classic version of the game, and people clearly loved it. I think Season of Discovery, we could all say, besides the first relaunch of Classic Vanilla, was the most popular version of Classic WoW. And so looking at it and what they could be doing going forward, is a Classic, actual Classic Plus, right? Not a Season of Discovery, but an actual Classic Plus, a version of Classic that continues on for eternity. And these were the features they were asking people if they wanted to see in the new Classic version of World of Warcraft. So we got playable shamans on the Alliance, collections, account-wide collections, 1v1 duel arenas, new player character models, in-game events, pet battles, leveling professions, new class abilities and spells. We also have honor reward redesign, WoW token. Is anybody going to pick the WoW token for Classic? Yeah, Classic. That's right. I'm surprised they even put this on the fucking survey. But anyways, class talent adjustments, account-wide perks and progression, playable high elves. We never even got that, really. I hate what they did with high elves in retail, to be honest. We should have gotten, like, a fully customizable elves with blue eyes and tattoos and everything else. We got freaking void elves with blue eyes and blood elves with blue eyes. Ridiculous. But anyways, revisiting known and unexplored zones. This is cool. There's a lot of content out there that was made for Classic that was never launched. That could be a thing. And then right here, player housing. Instanced personalized housing for players and guilds. I mean, you'd basically have a downgraded version of player housing where the graphics are a little bit shittier, but probably be the same system, I would assume. So yeah, player housing is being considered for the next version of Classic. Achievements, cross-round play, honor systems, and then finally we have the end of the list here. New trade skills, graphical texture improvements, and resolution upgrades. So I guess Classic, but playing with the modern graphics, modern technology improved the fidelity and textures of the use of Classic art assets. Okay. New battlegrounds, new race and class combinations, new class, 10-player raids. I wish we had that in retail sometimes. Cross-realm guilds, transmogrifier, playable paladins on the Horde side, and so much more, maybe. So interesting stuff here, the considerations that they're looking at for what Classic could become in the game. A lot of things moving forward, a lot of options, but player housing certainly being one of them is interesting. Again, when all this could be hitting? End of the year, it's going to be jam-packed. Based on the calendar, I mean, we know that player housing is going to be happening. Now, will that be for the pre-patch? I don't think so. I think we're going to get it just like BFA with the launch of the allied races. Whoever pre-purchased the expansion will be getting access to player housing before pre-patch and everything else. And that is all in terms of news.